Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're located. My name is Sam Lodge. I'm the Phenomenex Business Development Manager for the environmental industry, and today I will be discussing our consumable products that are used in PFAS workflows, specifically for sample prep and LC. This table provides a summary of all the Phenomenex products used for PFAS, including designations on which products are optimized for specific methods, including EPA 537, 533, and 1633. This table is a great tool for choosing consumables for whichever PFAS method that is required and includes links to the Phenomenex website for full descriptions and specifications of each item. Our consumables for PFAS can be broken down into two categories: method-specific products, which are defined in the EPA monographs, and method-independent products, which can be used in almost any PFAS workflow. Please note that this presentation is focused on the methods that use SPE. There are several direct inject methods that are also using our columns and other consumables, but these are not referenced within this presentation due to time constraints. There are two prescriptive methods for drinking water. The first is EPA 537.1. EPA 537.1 has two iterations. The original 537 method was promulgated back in 2009. The SPE sorbent listed in the monograph was SDVB, styrene divinylbenzene, with equivalency. However, many commercial laboratories interpreted this to include modified SDBs, such as Strata X, which is copolymerized with a polyvinylpyrrolidone group. The EPA considered this to be outside the scope of the equivalency for this method, so in 2019 they revised this method as 537.1, which only allowed for non-modified SDVB for the SPE step. In addition, there were 4 new compounds included in 537.1, bringing the total for this method to 18 compounds. Strata SDBL, which is our version of the SDVB, has been the industry standard for 537.1 for many years. These two tech notes referenced here document the performance of Strata SDBL in one of the largest commercial laboratories in California, as well as the preeminent municipal water district in the United States. Strata SDBL meets or exceeds all of the QC requirements for recovery of all the analytes listed in this method and shows excellent scalability to automated SPE platforms, such as the SPE03 from Chromochrome that is in wide commercial use for PFAS workflows. The full tech notes are available by contacting Phenomenex directly. The newest prescriptive method for drinking water is EPA 533, which is promulgated in 2019. It increases the total number of compounds to 25, and many of the long-chain compounds from the original 537 method were replaced by shorter-chain compounds, including several of the newer replacement compounds used in the chemical industry. Because of the changes to the analytes, the new EPA 533 method utilizes a weak anion exchange chemistry for the SPE. Strata XAW was selected by the EPA for both method development and the multi-lab validation. Strata XAW has been the industry standard for 533. The two tech notes referenced here document the performance of Strata XAW for EPA 533 in both manual and automated SPE processes at 2 of the largest PFAS labs in the U.S. These tech notes are also available for review of the data and method parameters. Until 2022, there was not an official method for analyzing PFAS in non-drinking water matrices. Most commercial laboratories had developed their own internal methods for looking at PFAS in wastewater, soils and sediments, and landfill leachates, and these were collectively accredited as 537 mod or user-defined methods. The publication of EPA 1633 as a draft method creates the potential for a standard method for PFAS in many disparate matrices with resulting improvements in data comparability. EPA 1633 still uses the wax chemistry for the SPE, but the main difference in sample prep from 533 is the required use of GCB to remove organic interference that are part of the matrix. These organic interference can cause suppression of some of the PFAS compounds and lead to low bias or underreporting for these compounds. This additional step was based on the DoD QSM Table B15, as many of the sites contaminated with PFAS were military bases, and the DoD was a major stakeholder in the development of this new 1633 method. While Table B15 did not specify a format for GCB, 1633 initially required adding GCB to the sample as part of a DSPE or dispersive solid phase extraction step. However, the third draft of 1633, released in February, provided labs the ability to use GCB in cartridge format so long as all QC requirements were being met. Strata PFAS, which is a wax sorbent layered on top of GCB, was developed as part of an improved workflow solution to the Table B15 requirement for GCB. 1633 for wastewater currently allows for the use of stacked cartridges, and these two tech notes show the data resulting from the comparison of Strata PFAS to several different wax plus DSPE sorbents used in the original method. Both of these tech notes are available from Phenomenex, and we are currently working with Chromachrome to develop automated workflows for 1633 using these stacked cartridges. This slide shows some extracted data from the work that was done with Bureau Veritas and shows the performance of the Strata PFAS stacked format compared to several wax phases with DSPE. For all analytes required in this method, Strata PFAS showed equal or better recoveries in the wastewater matrix. In addition, the use of a single cartridge reduces the number of manual steps that are used for the DSPE process and lowers the potential for introducing error into these processes. Additional data from a second study performed by Alpha Analytical provides corroboration on the performance of Strata PFAS compared to wax plus DSPE for EPA 1633. Strata PFAS provides equal or improved recoveries for analytes. One note, FTCA recoveries for both SPE techniques were below the QC levels, but subsequent method development showed that changes to the elution profiles would improve these recoveries for Strata PFAS to over 70%, which is well within the acceptable QC parameters. Besides changes to the sample prep, 1633 also introduces an additional requirement of a minimum resolution between PFOS and the cholic acid TDCA. TDCA and PFOS both share a primary daughter ion of MZ80, and the presence of TDCA can lead to low bias for PFOS quantitation. As a result, 1633 requires that chromatographic conditions be developed to create a minimum resolution of 1 between TDCA and the branch and linear isomer window for PFOS. Interestingly enough, the GCB and the DSPE or stack tubes that is required in the sample prep is supposed to remove much of these organic interferences. However, as this data illustrates, TDCA is poorly retained on GCB, with over 50% still being present after exposure to GCB, both in DSPE and stack tube format. Although the stack tube format did a better job of removing it, it is still in excess in the eluent. It is for this reason that the resolution requirement is included. In 2019, after the release of 533, and in the increase of number of target compounds from 18 to 25, there was renewed interest in the impact of stationary phase chemistry on the resolution of different PFAS compounds. In addition, there was a significant increase in the number of targeted PFAS compounds in the non-drinking water matrices that were part of the modified or used or defined methods, and this also led to additional needs for separating more complex mixtures. Phenomenex had done a study back in 2019 on the impact of different column chemistries on the separation of PFAS mixtures. This tech note is available for review, and there are additional studies ongoing to further develop this data. The next two slides illustrate the impact of different column chemistries for the separation of TDCA as required in 1633. In this example, with the Gemini 3 micron C18 column, TDCA has a 1.5 minute resolution from the PFOS window with a 19-minute total runtime. This is contrasted with a different chemistry, the Luna 3 micron PS C18, which shows a 5-minute resolution between TDCA and the PFOS window and a total runtime of only 17 minutes. There's many other examples that are being developed within this method. So again, the idea being that there are many different ways to achieve this resolution depending on what the matrix is and also what your analytes are. Phenomena can also provide other consumables that are used in most PFAS workflows, including non-method specific products. The EPA has provided guidance that in methods 537.1, 533, and 1633, polypropylene vials should be used due to the tendency of longer PFAS chain compounds to stick to glass and other materials. Phenomenix is able to supply polypropylene vials in 300 microliter, 700 microliter, and 2 millimeter formats, along with polyethylene caps to reduce any possible interactions with aseptic materials. Our subsidiary Phenova has an ISO 17043 and TNI ELv3 2016 certification to provide PFAS proficiency testing for accreditation on EPA 537.1, 533, and 1633. In addition, they offer a full suite of native CRMs for ICV, CCV studies for these methods. These CRM standards can be customized for specific dilution levels if necessary. Other products that are used in the PFAS workflows include Security Guard, which protects the analytical columns and the MS source from particulates and chemical contaminants, delay columns, which are placed after the pumps but before the injector to delay the dilution of system-derived PFAS contamination from eluting with your analytes in the sample, Strata XLAW with 100 micron particle size, the same chemistry as the XAW used in modified 537 and 533, but better flow parameters for dirty matrices. Security Link, which is a Teflon-free tubing with torque-limiting finger-tight fittings to attach columns quickly and easily. And finally, Security Caps, which are used to inhibit the release of volatile mobile phase compounds into the lab environment. And of course, our self-promotion slide. Please contact Phenomenix directly to get copies of all the tech notes discussed in this presentation, as well as with any questions about your PFAS workflows or other LC, GC, or sample prep methods that can have performance, productivity, or cost improvements. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day.